because I buy online. How many of you have finished the small survey that I sent you a few days ago? If you still haven't, please finish it and send it back to me. I'd like to know what you are thinking about this course and what problems you may have. By now, you should have studied the most important aspects of Chinese taxation, the procedural aspects of Chinese taxation, and two very important taxes, the value-added tax and the business tax. For the procedural aspects, you may have known how tax laws and regulations are made in China, and what are the differences between the different forms of tax legislations. Tax laws and the most important, tax laws are the most important form of legislation and are of nationwide force. However, in China, there are only a few legislations that bear the name of law. Generally speaking, there should be no taxation when there is not a law. However, due to historical reasons, most of the taxes that are collected today are based on regulations which are made by the executive branch of the Chinese government, that is, the State Council. You may also know that regulations are generally made by the federal government to substantiate the implementation of laws and based on the delegation of the laws in question. Where there is not a law, there should not be a regulation for such law. But, as I said just now, most of the regulations on taxation were made by the State Council due to historical reasons. They were not made by the legislature. Instead, they were made by the executive branch, which is supposed to administer the law. But this is a question that has baffled the Chinese government and the Chinese scholars. It is the same case with China's tax administrative punishment, that is, the abbreviation of TAP, the tax administrative indemnification with the abbreviation of TAI, and the tax dispute resolution value-added tax. Whether it is value-added tax or any other tax, okay. Okay, Dale, you are interacting with each other. It works like a sales tax. It is work on all tariffs in general. Tariffs is also a kind of sales tax, because they pay for what they sell, and they get the tax deducted from. They get the tariffs they have paid on the import goods out of the taxes they pay. Okay. Importer of record have to pay VAT into the system as well as the customs duties. Is that what you mean? You will find in the chapter on VAT that VAT is a tax that is collected apart from the tariffs. So just now I said that they compensate accessible price include or consist of the customs duties and the consumption taxes. So they could be similar, but they are completely different. I think that I believe that in most of the countries there is tariff on the import or export of goods. So, but not all countries have VAT. So it is different. It is not. It could be similar because it is similar to the sales tax. Okay. I'm afraid we won't be able to. Okay, you have. China has free trade zones, if I recall that, allow VAT not to be collected until a good is imported. Yes, you are correct, Professor Byrnes. That is, we do not say free trade zones, but with a special economic zones, or we have bonded zones. So if the goods is transferred within the bonded zones, then there is no VAT. Only when it is not only imported or exported, only when the goods is transferred outside the bonded area or special economic zone, then the VAT